So while I'm working on the magnetic container, I think it's a good time, a proper time, to very, concisely speak about an issue that is not related to me directly, because the things that I will now speak about, none of it happened to me. Only to a sentient race of foreigners that is enslaved in Israel, also in other countries. Before I do it, I'll just repeat what I've said, not to the record, so it will now be on the record. All of you, like especially Israel, but all of you. You are one bark of an Israeli dog or an Israeli pig. One step from us starting to make noise. One step. One pig is enough to squeak at me for us to start making noise. It will happen before the asteroids. It will happen immediately. We are not speaking about, the ball game is not 7 or 8 Richter. The ball game is on the level of 12. Yes, 12. Nothing will remain from Israel and Jordan. Not even archaeological excavations. Nothing. And you are one bark of an Israeli dog from it. This will affect the entire world. Immediately. One bark of an Israeli pig or dog from 12 on the Richter scale. One bark. So if someone abroad has any capacity for rational behavior and rational political action, you will do whatever you can so that the dogs and pigs will stop their squeaking now, because there is no more credit. No more credit. One squeak of a pig, of an Israeli pig, from Israel and Jordan to disappear under the ground completely. And to have a geological scale cataclysm. It will happen immediately. Immediately. And you are one squeak of a pig from it. One squeak of a pig, one bark of a dog. Now, very concisely, regarding this Titan subjugation, some things that none of these actually happened to me. I've had my own share of humiliation, torture, and whatever, but let's speak very concisely about the Titan experience. I've never been in the planet Venus, and I've repeated that I'm not even sure that it's actually planet Venus. That I speculated in the past that it's Venus, and I had my own private conspiracy theory on the matter, and I have my own scientific argumentation. But it can be another place because the gate is obviously is used by what we call teleportation, something that obviously possible because neurons can do it, so also humans can do it. Using devices that are outside the reach of their technological advancement, but it exists, so I don't know where it teleports. You can be for another star system. The simplest, most probable, bet is Venus. So let's call them Venusians. So I generally call them Titans. One of the reasons is not I use the name Titans and not Venusians because I'm not certain it's Venus. If I had I have never been there. I've never even seen the gate myself. I have all sorts of conjectures on the matter, but. If I was there, I could have performed a series of experiments that will perhaps corroborate that it's actually Venus. Even that is it depends on a lot of stuff. But I wasn't there. I don't know. But it doesn't really matter because they teleport there to this place. So very quickly, what they do is that they capture slaves. That they treat them like less than robots. Like they do whatever they want to them. Of course, in the past they also raped them, but they discovered that there are health concerns with it, and they also changed their form, mostly to mimic forms of operators, female operators here in the intelligence services. So they will have a slave clone, and it's also beneficial from intelligence perspective. Of course, those creatures do not have any normal life, no family life, no romantic relationship, no sex. And now they are also used as cattle to produce, using my sperm. That was the plan, and I reject the plan. That's one of the reasons that I am prosecuted. But I said I will not speak about myself. The plan was to use them as cattle. Now, they don't they don't know about these things that are going on on Earth. When they come here, what they do to them as a standard procedure is that they poison them. So they will have to get the antidote once every time. This is something that was not invented for this species. Of course, they do it also. The Israeli intelligence is doing it to other people. Homo sapiens. They for all sorts of reasons that they want to keep close at hand. And other intelligence services. Mostly the most the coolest ones all have done in the past, and perhaps to do it today. The Israelis are doing it as a standard procedure to every foreigner. Without asking him or her, it's mostly her, and just as a standard procedure. And they cannot speak about anything at all, because if they don't have free speech at all. If they just open their mouths, they are terrorized by all sorts of conditioning, and of course, they are hospitalized in asylums and tortured, and so they cannot speak and they cannot reject it. So they're getting this shot, and then they once a week they need to go to see a doctor. These doctors are spread over, or nurses spread all over Israel, and so they have excuses that once a week they need to go to an arrangement. The most common excuse is that they actually go to see a doctor, but the doctor is not what it's supposed to be, but it actually administers or the nurse administers the antidote, and if they don't get it, they suffer excruciating pain, and eventually they die. Why they didn't do it to me? Of course they try. They cannot do it to me. I'm not a Venusian. Of course they tried to do it to me. One of the reasons behind the last arrests was to actually test. If I'm able to function without any antidote, and of course I can. I don't take any antidote at all. They can't do it to me. Otherwise they would have done it long ago. And in order to do it, they don't even to tell me everything. They could have just tell me some of the stuff, but they don't need, because I don't have they can do it to me. But they do it to all of the Venusians, all the strangers that come to this place. Unknowingly, that they will be in hell. And if the Venusian, the stranger, they say that they are very complicit by their nature and they like to be slaves and they do whatever they told them. But if it's true, why do the Israel need to subject them to all sorts of psychological conditioning that are part of huge part of what actually all the Shabak and the Mossad are doing? It's a huge something that is focus of their actions is just to prepare those psychological conditions to the slaves and to administer to actually apply that on all sorts of occasions. Why do they need that framework of torture if they are completed by nature? And also, why do they need this shot if they are completed by nature? And I'll tell you another thing. Sometimes a slave, a foreigner, is showing some kind of resistance. Never violence and never things like that. They're not even remotely in this kind of state of mind. But they show some kind of resistance. They don't jump and comply with any command of the Israeli pig. And then you know what's their punishment? There are many punishments, including, as I said, psychological terror and also physical terror using chips that they have installed in their brain or their heart, like they are Harkonnen, like Baron Harkonnen from Dune. And this is standard procedure for everyone that's come from Venus. Like the Baron Harkonnen is doing to all of their all of the people in his surrounding in the court. But you know what? Another punishment for showing showing independent thought or not complying 100%. And again, the Israelis say that they like to comply. But you know what they do to them? One of the punishment, it's standard punishment. And I've seen such people in my life. So I'm already like, I suppose all this, I reach to those conclusions after like a lifetime of not knowingly, being, on the vicinity of such creatures, and also, people of the Shabak and the Mossad. It's not something that I understood immediately, but in retrospect, I've understood it, and I spoke about it in the past. So one of the common punishment for people that, show some kind of resistance, and resistance could be just, refusal, or, not refusal, but, not, for them, they can get a command to himself, like, to inject, like, poison to other, like, innocent people, or, to subject other people to cruelty, and if they don't do it, like, with happily enough, they are considered, like renegades, and then the standard procedure is to inject them with a different kind of venom, like, or toxin. I don't know exactly what it's called, like, but it's injection that now they need to go every day to the doctor to get the shot, and if they miss one day, they are subjected to excruciating pain. So everywhere that I was, like in any kind of group of people, or of course, a group of people that belong to the Israeli intelligence, there was always the one that had to go like every day. Of course, he had like an excuse, like and there are also common excuses for people that belong to this kind of population for the daily administration. Like that he needs to take care of his dog, or and it's daily thing, or a sick father, or like. So they need, apparently, like, presumably for this reason, they need to go, like, in the middle of work. Because and generally I spend my time in circuits of people that that are very busy. I guess that for less busy people, they don't need any excuse. They just go after like work hours, or on the morning. But yeah, generally people that want me needed an excuse. So there were also always the guy that showed a little bit of like independent thought. So and he needed to get the injection every day in his life. You ask what kind of like independent thought, or like not complete compliance, you need an example. I'll tell you an example. A little bit before I was arrested for the crime that I was framed of, and this happened like the beginning of last December. I lived in my mother's apartment because following like a car accident. And I really wanted to get out of Israel. Not permanently, because permanently with my daughters, but until I thought that I managed to do it because I'm divorced. Until then, I will just fly abroad and try to sell my things, like my arts abroad. So it was very important. Of course, the Israelis don't want it at all. And I at the time, I had the financial difficulties because of the Israeli tortured me all my life. So I asked my mother to pay for the new passport. It's like 500 shekels, and she did it. Yes, she paid 500 shekels for me to get a passport. So a couple of days after the passport was issued and was transferred to me, the Shabak framed me for a crime that by now, 5 months later, I still don't see my daughters, which are 6 and 7 years old, and they grew up with me. And of course, I'm all subjected to arrest and house arrest and whatever, and there is no end to it. And you ask, what about my mother? Did they just let it go? Did sleep? No, of course not. She was punished for this action. By what was the punishment? The punishment that since then she needs to go every day to get this shot. Every day. A 70-year-old woman that that needs to go to see the doctor or nurse every day to get the shots. That will counter the effect of a poison that she was administered because she paid for the passport of her son, which is, as you know, a slave that, for other reasons, a slave of the Israeli state. Don't tell me that the CIA didn't know about it. It's impossible. The CIA is, since the 1970s, the United States is the patron of Israel, and I'm not going to repeat, I've spoken about it a lot during the past year or 2 years, and actually most of it is actually very trivial and known, so even it's not required explanation, but I've done my share of explanation, and although I intertwined it with, like alternate history, or like a hidden part of history, especially since the 1960s, with regards to the Middle East and the relationship between the United States and the Middle East. So they control this country for 15 years, and they know that, those creatures are captured in their home planet, that they are brought here, and they know that they are subjected to this, to all sort of horrible treatment, and specifically to this, toxic, administration that, makes them like, depends on weekly or even daily if they show some kind of resistance, daily injections. So, if you didn't do it already, now is a good time to actually take a look at the impact maps. I posted like a short video now, with several impact maps. It should be mentioned that, the map of the US is, you can see the asteroid that will hit the sea next to Florida, but the one that will hit California is not there because, the way that I walk, and I walk with layers, and I didn't like, I always like, in some kind of like a prey of like some kind of a manhunt. So, sometimes I don't have like, the correct like photos of my pictures. So, in any case, the correct impact map for the United States, you can see it. You can watch it in the large painting, a very large one that also posted in this video, where you can see, the red points are like thumbnails. My thumb, the red, it's in oil paint, and next to each of those you can see like a gray circle, and the gray circle is an impact place. So there you can actually see both, like the one that will hit California and Florida, both of them, and many others as well, all over the world. And again, I think, if it was up to me, the whole like territory of the United States were bombarded by asteroids. They knew about this thing, and they let it go, and they let these things, take place and happen, like, for years on years, and at the same time, they push to the whole world, not only them, but mostly them, they push a liberal agenda, a progressive agenda of diversity and acceptance. If there is like a new TV show which is produced in the United States with like, without the correct frequency or like amount of actors of each like possible color, there is such an outcry in the United States of misrepresentation, while at the same time they control Israel as their back door, and it's a slave country of unimaginable cruelty. If it was up to me, the United States was bombarded by asteroids. It will not be bombarded by asteroids, but it will get like several big ones. And I assure you that whoever we left alive will not say that they are not the police of this world when they are asked to intervene, when like a vassal state of them is conducting such a cruel slave trade. They will not reply with, "We are not Team America World Police." They will not utter these words. They will run to do whatever they can to free the slaves. They will run, and they will keep their mouths shut. I assure you.